in 2024, I hope you can understand that how much the Parliament chapter is important for your upcoming examination. So there are few parts in the polity, for example, Parliament, fundamental rights, scheduled area, scheduled tribe, and DPSP. These are some of the pointers that you should not be missing. Go for revision as many times as you can. Go for, especially from these themes. So let's come to the question that with reference to the Indian Parliament, consider the following. A bill pending in the Lok Sabha lapses on its dissolution. A bill pending in the Lok Sabha lapses on its dissolution. This particular statement is correct because a bill will be lapsing on the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. A bill passed by the Lok Sabha and pending in Rajya Sabha lapses on the dissolution of Lok Sabha. I hope that you understand why the bill will be lapsing. Basically, the Lok Sabha or the Council of Ministers are going for the next election and the Council of Ministers has been dissolved. So, it is understood that whatever the bill will be pending in front of Lok Sabha, whatever bill would be pending in front of Lok Sabha, they will be going for lapse, right? The basic idea behind this is that basically we want to conduct new elections and whosoever will be the new Council of Ministers, they will be coming to the power and they will be passing new laws as per their, policies. So, a bill passed by the Lok Sabha and pending in Rajya Sabha also lapse on the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. Again, second statement is correct. A bill in regard to which the President of India has notified intentions to summon the joint sitting lapses on the dissolution of the Lok Sabha, right? Basically, this bill is not going to lapse on the dissolution of the Lok Sabha if both the houses have, made the amendment and there is a gap of 6 months. Now, President can say that we want to call the joint sitting. So, any bill that is pending for the joint sitting, it is not going to lapse. But President by using his absolute veto, he can end that particular bill or can withhold that particular bill and bill will become die. But automatically, the bill is not going to lapse. But rather, the President will be using his absolute veto in this particular case. So, third statement is incorrect. And we are left with only one option, that is 1 and 2, right? Again, in 2022, the question was asked that what are the exclusive powers of the Lok Sabha, right? In the first question that we saw, this was asked in 2020 regarding the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, that they are enjoying the equal power. Again, in 2022, that is just after 2 years, the similar question was asked, but this time the question was framed that what are the exclusive power of the Lok Sabha. Earlier the question was on Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha are having equal powers. So maybe next year the question, or maybe this year the question can be framed that what are the exclusive powers of the Rajya Sabha. So these are the pointer that you shall be keeping in mind while solving the previous year question, because these are the repeated themes. Let's come to the question. To ratify the declaration of emergency, right? Again, emergency can be ratified by both the houses. That is, you require the approval from both the houses within the period of 1 month. So, this is not the exclusive power of the Lok Sabha. Second statement is saying that to pass a motion of no confidence against the Council of Ministers. I already told you that no confidence motion can be only passed in the Lok Sabha against the Council of Ministers. Again, it is the exclusive power of the Lok Sabha. As well as to impeach the President of India. Again, in order to impeach the President of India, both the houses, Rajya Sabha as well as Lok Sabha, are enjoying the equal power. So, this is not the exclusive power of Lok Sabha. So, our correct answer is option number 2. That is, the question is asking only about the exclusive power of the Lok Sabha. Again, in 2021, the question was asked that we adopted parliamentary democracy based on the British model. that our parliamentary democracy is somewhat having similarity with the British model, because in India, president is just the symbolic head. So is the case with British parliamentary form of democracy. But how does our model differ from that of model of Britain? So now you need to answer the correct option. As regard to the legislation, British Parliament is supreme or sovereign. In Britain, the Parliament is supreme or sovereign. But in India's case, we do not have the parliamentary sovereignty or the citizen sovereignty. It is the Constitution that is supreme, because we are following the principle of constitutional supremacy, which is saying that it is the Constitution that have created the Parliament and not the Parliament has created the Constitution. So in India's case, we are making supreme as the Constitution and not the Parliament. But in India, the power of Parliament to legislate is limited, right? So Parliament cannot go for changing the whole Constitution again, making us realize the doctrine of basic structure, that Parliament can legislate only on limited matters. They cannot change the basic philosophy of the Indian Constitution. So this particular statement is correct. Second statement is saying that in India, matters related to constitutionality of amendment of the Act of the Parliament are referred to the Constitution Bench of the Supreme Court. Again, you need to understand what is the meaning of Constitution Bench. Constitution Bench is that particular bench which includes at least 5 judges, right? So whenever 5 judges are sitting together and are giving the judgment, we are going to see that it is the Constitution Bench of the Supreme Court. Again, this particular statement is correct. So our correct option is both 1 and 2. Again, in 2020, the question was asked, consider the following statement. The President of India can summon a session of the Parliament at such places as he or she think fit, right? So what is summon? Summon in its literal sense means calling upon, right? Many a time in our regular life, we are hearing this particular scenario that this person has got the summon of the court, which means the court is calling upon that particular person to appear at a particular date and at a particular time. So summon is again the power of the president. That president will be issuing the notification which is about calling upon the session of the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. Again, this particular statement is correct. Second statement is saying that Constitution of India provides for 3 sessions of the Parliament in a year, but it is not mandatory to conduct all 3 sessions. This particular statement is incorrect. Why it is incorrect? Because Constitution is silent on the number of sessions. Constitution of India is not mentioning that how many sessions we shall be conducted in a particular year. It is just saying the President of India. Constitution is just creating a responsibility on the shoulders of President, that President should be calling upon or should be issuing the summon at least twice a year, or 6 months should not elapse between 2 summons. Nowhere in the Constitution the word it has written that in India will be conducted budget session, monsoon session as well as the winter session. It is the responsibility or the constitutional obligation of the president that he has to call upon or he has to issue summon in the period of 6 months, that is twice a year, right? So this particular statement is incorrect. Third statement is saying that there is no minimum number of days that Parliament is required to meet in a year. Yes, this particular statement is correct because there is no minimum number of days which is written in the Constitution that Parliament shall be meeting for 200 days or 150 days. It is not mentioned. So our correct option is option number C. That is, first and third statement is correct.